A warm welcome back onto the program. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Of course, today we're taking a look at the soaring cost of tomatoes and pepper. Now, according to research or statistics, the best time to plant your tomatoes vary or they fall between the months of December, January, February, and March, which means that for some farmers who are hoping to sell at high prices in May, July, it is best they cultivate their tomatoes at about December the previous year. Does that still matter? Does it count? Issues around climate change, insecurity, and other issues are probably some of the reasons why we're currently experiencing the high cost of tomatoes in the market. We do have a farmer in the studio this morning, and together we'll take a look at why this is happening at this particular point in time. Are there hopes that this could abate any moment from now, or, like we say in the local parlance, are we on a long thing? This morning, we have joining the conversation Abisola Ijalana. Like I said, she's a farmer. Thank you, Abisola, for being here on the program today.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. So let's start from when, like I said, are we still... Is tomatoes, is it still seasonal? Because we grew up knowing that, okay, at some particular point in a year, you have plenty of tomatoes, yes, and sometimes you'll already know that, okay, we might not have. But so with climate change issues and all of that, can we say tomatoes, is it still seasonal?
Yes. Yeah,
it's still very seasonal?
Yeah, because of this climate issue, yeah.
Okay, so when is the best time to plant?
The best time to plant, okay, in terms of business-wise, because why it's seasonal is because most times, you know, all this high cost of imports because of the recent dollar rate, and also a lot of farmers, you know, everybody wants to make money from it. Does
that affect tomatoes?
Yeah, it does, because of the high cost of seed. You know, the seeds are being sent from abroad.
Oh. Even so we don't grow the seeds here?
No, we don't. We only have the Yoruba seeds. So for good quality seeds that will give you good yield, they are being brought in. They are shipped.
So you buy?
Yes, we buy.
To plant?
Exactly, we buy to plant.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so because there's what we call F2 and F1. F1 is the first generation, so that one gives you the best yield. It has more resistance to diseases. But the F2 are the ones you get maybe after planting, the ones after harvesting, you dry and get the seed. You can't really get so much from it, yes.
Okay.
So the climate change has been a very difficult problem. For instance, this year, the rain didn't start until like maybe this June, May, this just month that we enter, towards May. Mm-hmm. For people that done their nursery in February, I did my nursery in February, I will tell you that the heat affected my harvest here. My yield is kind of poor. So one of those things, and we look forward to selling it during the year because it's the number one thing. We know tomatoes is always very expensive. And every farmer, every business owner is out to also make money. Mm-hmm. But for instance, it's so expensive. That is what is even helping us get our like investment back. Okay. Because right now, a lot of farmers suffered from the heat. It affected from the nursery. The nursery didn't do well. When we transplanted, the plants were just looking very fragile, and it definitely affects the productivity. Right. So that's number one, for instance. And in terms of seeds, very expensive, high cost. There's a particular seed we buy. As of last year when we bought it was 27,000. I'm telling you now that seed is 140,000 for just the same can. 50 grams is 140,000. Then we also have lack of manpower. As a result of this high forex exchange, usually the Cotonou boys, they come to Nigeria to work. This year, I can tell you, maybe just 5% came, because by the time we pay them in our own naira, when they take it back to their country, the exchange rate is very poor. So they decided not to come. So a lot of farmers, there's no work, and we can't do it ourselves. Right. You know, and you know, farming is also very capital intensive. Not everybody can afford like a tractor, afford this. I don't have a tractor. I still use the manpower, but I was lucky to just get a contact of Gombe boys that I was able to, and that's why I have tomatoes that I have.
Cool.
Okay. Aside from forex and the high cost of seedlings that you mentioned, how much of impact has the insecurity level that we have in the country also caused in the cost of tomatoes and pepper?
Yeah, a lot of farmers they have to run for their life. I can tell you, for instance, I just thank God, I was almost kidnapped last year. I had that one face-to-face experience, but I escaped into the bush. In fact, some people were still telling me even on Saturday, I went for a party, so they met me and they're like, and you're still going. If I'm the one, I can't go. I'm like, I have to face my fears, and now I'm just trying to be more careful because you can't tell me to do what I don't what I enjoy doing and love doing. They shot at my car. This one is not. I have videos, I have evidence. So you imagine if I...
Where's your farm?
I'm Okoloki in Ogun State.
Okay.
Yes, you go through Ofada or more there, that road, before getting to Papalanto.
Okay.
And I was returning, coming back to Lagos. And it was just pow, 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 pow. I just thought it was a joke and all.
And you were able to make a video?
When I went back to my car,
okay,
because we ran into the bush.
Okay.
So when I went back to my car, you know, I was able to do a video of everything and all. I couldn't make a video when the thing was
when it was going, because
I had to
That's also a factor, insecurity.
Yes, insecurity. So a lot of farmers, you know, they have to just, you know, life first comes first. It's not everybody that is still bold enough to face it. Some of my friends still tell me that Abisola, you're still being you know, stuff like that, basically.
Let's quickly backtrack a bit and go back to what you said earlier, manpower.
Yes.
I mean, like you said, you didn't have much of the Cotonou boys coming this year. Is that because of proximity to the border, or is it that we do not have people who can engage in farm, you can use as farm hands in Nigeria?
Well, you know, basically, most people are looking for the fastest way to make money, you know. So most of our youth are more enlightened, like they just want to look for another means to make money. I don't want to see...
They see that as dirty work.
Yes, so I don't want to say otherwise. So but those boys there, you know, that's what they are ready to work and ready to do it. Most times when we use our people, they also work, but it's not like us much as the other Cotonou guys do. But since this the FX and stuff, exchange rates, we don't actually have them. So we're still trying to make do. Maybe for instance, if we were to use maybe 5 Cotonou boys to do maybe like 1 acre or so. Now you might be needing to employ maybe a Nigerian person. That you might need like 8 people. You know. Yeah, exactly. So those are one of the factors.
So it's a way of saving costs.
Yes.
Okay. The challenge of moving your goods from the farmland to where you're going to sell, how easy is it in terms of road, access to road, transportation and everything?
Okay, well, basically, for people, some people have trucks, even though we know Nigerian roads are not so fantastic, but we definitely need to move our goods. And that's one of the things that even affects the northerners, you know, because it's a very it's a long distance coming to the west, bad roads and all, you know. It will be very fantastic if we have dedicated railways that will be used to carry the goods down. Then also insecurity also comes in because, you know, sometimes most of them are even attacked, you know. And for instance, the high cost of fueling. So after we harvest, now taking the goods to the market, the costs at which those transporters, how much they charge, sometimes by the time you calculate it, you realize that from what you're even growing, you're not making so much profit because the profit is already going to
other things.
Exactly, transportation has taken.
So I mean, you are a farmer, and of course you farm in tomatoes. So when you, I'm trying to see how best this question will come out. So the tomatoes that you plant are definitely not the Yoruba tomatoes, because again we have the Yoruba tomatoes, we have the Hausa tomatoes. Yes. So which breed do you plant?
I do the hybrid.
Okay.
Hybrid, yeah. For those ones, they last longer, they can stay more fresh. For 2 weeks without putting, or 3 weeks without putting into the fridge, you just put in an open air. It will still be as hard as it should be. Fresh and fresh, yes. Okay.
So how do people differentiate some of these tomatoes?
Even from saying it, you'll have seen how hard it is. Okay. The other ones, you know, like water, before you know it is already spilling, and also that's how you know the difference. Then in terms of for farmers, the advantage of the hybrid seed is because the resistance to diseases. For instance, another factor that is affecting us right now is because there was a disease outbreak in the north. And because of the kind of seeds, you know, for some, the seeds I grow, the disease resistance is still high. Not that they don't get diseases, but it's just that at least it has higher resistance. So there's a disease outbreak that is currently happening in the north that has affected. That's why we don't have the tomatoes from the north. And the little farmers that are growing in the west is not enough.
The demand.
Yes.
So which is more affordable, the Hausa own or the hybrid? Because looking at the likes of Adebimpe and Abimbola, they'll be celebrating Salah very promise you. And they're already complaining.
It is tomatoes that you find on this one.
Pepper is expensive, tomatoes
the Yoruba
expensive.
tomatoes is the cheapest.
Is the
It's
cheapest.
the cheapest, yes, because they literally, you know, they just plant it, they don't even stake. If you go to a proper tomato farm, we stake it, you get bamboos, you get twines, you know, so that your plants are not falling on the ground. Because now we're in raining season, and once it rains, the disease just spreads. It's just like the breeze will just, yes, exactly. So, but when it's already standing properly, you know, you've staked it properly, the leaves, you've pruned it, and that's where knowledge also comes in. We need to also, you know, there should be knowledge sharing, the sensitizing of those local farmers that this is what and what to do.
Okay.
You know, so basically that's it.
So again, at this particular point in time, I'm not sure anybody is particular about Hausa tomatoes or Yoruba tomatoes. You just want to buy what is available, and a lot of people are. And now you just find maybe 4 or 5 pieces. Sometimes, depending on the size, 1,000 naira. Sometimes you. I can't even remember. Somebody said, I can't sell atarodo 200, and I'm like, but I don't need plenty. It's your choice. It's either you buy this or that. So are we going to get out of this situation anytime soon? Especially because we again think that this could be seasonal. And so maybe now that it is raining, now that maybe by the end of July or August, are there prospects that it could be better?
I wouldn't want to be negative, but I would just say let's just see as it goes. Realistic. Yes,
realistic.
But I don't think we are getting out of it anytime soon, because a lot, the capital to set up a farm and all, people have not recovered. A lot of farmers have not recovered from it. You know, for instance, the heat resistance. A farmer that has taken loan and looking forward to a bountiful harvest. You know, climate is something that no one can control.
Right.
You know, so a lot of them have gone into, you know, debt, trying to pay back, and they can't. So how do you expect them to now? Where do they want to find money from
to go and cultivate
so what I would
again?
to cultivate again. So what I'll just encourage is maybe people start setting up home farms, you know, just to cushion the effect, you know. Try to, you know, home farms. They should, you know, enlightenment on, even if it's just a small garden, maybe just 2 stands of pepper, you know. Just,
at least you can pluck what you want to eat.
Well, I don't think that there will be
respite.
Even
you are
Gary.
breaking hearts, so but again, it's reality, just like we said.
Well, how do you think government can help in all of this? Versus pushing the effect?
I think first thing first, you know, apart from even giving loans at a very low interest rate or grants, I think knowledge is also very key. Because you can have money to do stuff, but if you don't have the knowledge, there's no how, you know, it's just like
you're just going to do
it's just going to wait. So I think
way.
there should be more sensitization, you know. They should look for, they should find maybe policies, groups to go and enlighten those local farmers what to do. Then they should be able to give subsidized prices for agro inputs. Fertilizers are expensive, although we are now clamoring on organic farming, even manure. A lot of farmers, where we get the poultry poo-poo, it's so expensive now. It's very, very expensive, because that's the only way that it can be organic, because people can't even afford to buy fertilizers. Then even the poultry farmers, so most of them are also shutting down, because the maize for production is very, very expensive. So, you know, so a lot of, there are so many factors that just affect. It's just like a circle going round. So that's it basically. You know, they should maybe give more loans, but I would clamor for more knowledge, because you can have money to do something, and if you don't have knowledge and you try it, the money is just going to be a waste.
Right.
Then after the knowledge, you know, maybe after knowledge sharing, talking to them, this and this should be done. When you give the money, then you now give maybe fertilizers at a reduced rate, you know, farmers. Then even fuel. At least I'm aware that in the UK, diesel is being subsidized for farmers. If we can have opportunities like that in
so there's really
Nigeria,
nothing farmers enjoy.
No, we are not enjoying anything
in Nigeria.
We're not enjoying
from the Bank of Industry.
Well, they give loans too, but
the interest rate is also killing.
Yes, it's also
not.
Then it's not even very easy to assess. So if they can make it easy to assess, then we also need machineries. For instance, for me, I'm ready to do as many acres as possible. If I can just get like a tractor, get this and that makes the work easy. I'm about to start another nursery. About 10 workers ran away like 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to be...
I hope they didn't run away with tomatoes.
No, they didn't run away with tomatoes, but they ran away about... I was supposed to start another like 5 acres. And I just woke up one morning and my manager told me that about 6 went and another 4 now went. So right now, that particular portion of land is just there. I told him 2 days ago, what are we going to do? He said it's workers. But if I have like a tractor or something that can, just get someone to operate. Mechanized farming. If government can help, mechanized farming. If I have a tractor, flour, everything, I'll just go clear. Immediately, yes. Even cassava, I'll do it. I was talking yesterday that if I get, I can clear it, because Gary is also expensive. It's not just pepper. But yeah, I'm just here to talk about pepper and tomatoes.
Definitely, so it spreads to other food items.
If I get those opportunities, or if more farmers, I know women that are also very ready to do this thing. But apart from the fear, I know that there's some people I can talk to. We do it together. We come together as a group, and we can do it.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to the next question. You touched on it now, but let's widen it. Adibimpe has a contribution.
Still talking about the challenges. How major is this challenge of herdsmen and their cows, just walking freely into people's farms and just, destroying their farm produce?
Okay. It's actually everywhere, but I would say in the part of Ogun State I am, it's not as bad as it was. Although I learned that those people that tried to kidnap us were actually herdsmen. But now the road, they are now fixing it. I think Dangote is fixing that Mokoloki road to Papalanto. So, once there's development, it tends to, chase them away because the express is not like the bad road. I remember then the road was very terrible. But now once, the road is good, because they look for roads that are terrible that you have to slow down.
Get away.
Then sometimes they still come. It also depends on, for instance, some of my farmers, they are Hausa, so they can speak the language to them, yes. Then it also depends on the community leaders, the way, they can liaise with each other. Then once this thing even happen, when they encroach your farm, make sure that you don't do like a battle thing with them. Let there be conversation. Sometimes some of them, yes, the dialogue. Some of them tell their leaders and they are able to even pay the farmer back. But in a situation whereby there's like maybe a fight or you've gone to poison, yes, that's when maybe that fight and they come back to just attack or destroy farmlands. Yes.
So earlier you talked about, or you mentioned collaboration.
Yes.
And so I'd like for you to expatiate on that because also sometimes people are scared that if they go into collaboration, then the profit will reduce, and but a lot of people have also talked about the fact that collaboration is the new currency.
Yes,
when you pull resources together, you put action together, you're able to achieve more. Is that also something that is achievable in the farm business?
Yes, it is. But everybody, you have to make it very legal so that everything has to be written and documented in black and white, so that nobody comes and just say, this is me, this is what you told me. Everything has to be written, documented, so that in case of problems in the future, you'll be like, okay, this was what we agreed. If 10 people, maybe like 5 people, you have 5 good friends or 10 good friends. Maybe for instance, I have the knowledge, you come in with the funds, and there's a lawyer, because I wouldn't want to do anything without legal backing.
Not about friendship.
Although there are some things that, that is beyond someone, like the climate. So those are the things you also have to put into consideration. From the beginning, we have factors that are like this. The climate is from God. I can't control the rain. I can't control the sun. I can try and control diseases by making sure that we do the right thing, we prune at the right time, we spray our fungicides, maybe the organic fungicides, we spray the insecticides, we do the right thing at the right time to prevent, most of these stuff can be prevented if you also notice on time, So basically there should be understanding like that when situation like the climate come and so nobody's going to hold someone responsible that you said we're going to get, because that's the problem that happened. Most times they will come, they will have promised heaven and earth. Once you put 1 million naira now, 6 months time, you'll be getting these. Sometimes they are not being realistic. So you have to come together with a group of people that would understand that situation like this can happen. Integrity is also very key, but everybody will definitely be carried along as everything as it goes. Okay, maybe today we are transplanting. We've transplanted. We're expected to harvest 75 days after transplanting. Maybe we've done this at the right time, because there's a table for all these things. You know the right time to spray this. You know the right time to do this. You know what to feed them. Once you notice your flower, you know that it's time to pump in more potassium. It's basically stuff like that. You just carry. I wouldn't want to do business with people that I don't even trust or don't have integrity. So it's also very, very good when you are picking your partners. Make sure that you've done your due diligence, and then you take up. Then the lawyer is number one thing that has to be involved here.
Okay, even when people are ready to farm now, do they have access to lands, and at what rate?
Okay, well, in terms of land, you know, these real estate people, they've come to everywhere now. You say, buy your land, you know. That's another thing that is affecting farmers, because most of the lands are now being converted into real estate. So in a situation whereby the government can help us come in, and maybe they make sure that there are some lands that are just completely reserved for farmers,
okay.
and they can be leased for maybe long term.
Okay.
And you know that these are government reserved areas, and it's for a long, like maybe 10 years, 15 years, you know, that you keep using it. Then in terms of encouraging people that are even scared to go into the main farm, that's what we now call, you know, there are now ways, sustainable farming, whereby greenhouses, you know, maybe people that have maybe some spaces in front of, you know, some people build their house, apart from, the, you know, like, it still boils down to this real estate. The way they build houses now, you can see one plot, they will just use it to build like 4 different inside one plot. Unlike in the olden days, whereby you still have like space to do a lot of things. Yeah, so for people that don't even want to go far, maybe you want to, because where you can find land, you can't even find land for farming in Lagos. Only maybe if you go to maybe places like Ekpe. And for now, everybody knows that Ekpe now, they started advertising it. Before you know it, they're going to chase all the farmers away from there. So people that want to maybe Ogun State, Ekiti, but in a situation whereby you know that you want to farm in the comfort of your home, maybe they should encourage people. There can be rules that maybe still leave some space. So you can construct like a mini greenhouse. It's expensive, but if you can afford it, that means you can farm in your compound.
Right.
And with greenhouses, that's sustainable farming. Nothing has to do with the climate, because it's
everything is inside
you can control everything. So it makes it easier, and there's even more yield. You'll be able to have more yield because there's no rain, there's not too much sun. You can control it. It's just like when we're inside our house. When it's raining, when we go outside, you know, some people might have tendency to fall sick or just catch a cold. The same thing applies to plants. They are like human beings. Sometimes I even feel they are more fragile, because when I started then, I felt it's just about putting it on the ground and you come back, it's growing. No.
You have to also tend, you have to take care of all
them.
those things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about wastages, because we are a wasteful people. But I think a couple of people are also curtailing waste now. Storage is a big problem.
Yes, it is.
And of course, with things like tomato and pepper, I mean, if you don't grind them, they can't be stored. Or correct me if I'm wrong. Are they things that you can store for long term, if not grinded and then probably stored in the freezer or the fridge?
No, they are not. Yeah, you have to be able to preserve them. Tomatoes, peppers are very perishable. So maybe we should have more storage facilities. Because sometimes when you go to Mile 12, especially in seasons where these tomatoes, you know, is really a lot. Right now, there's nothing to store, because these tomatoes we have currently is not even enough for everybody.
To go around.
But in seasons like that, you know, maybe storage facilities, maybe each, I don't know, maybe the local government chairman or the chairman in charge, you know, can speak to the right people, because they even, when we take our goods to the market, they actually charge us. There is Owo Moto, Owo offload. I don't know where the money is going into. They can channel it into building a major storage facility in maybe Mile 12 market and the other markets. So it helps to preserve these things. Then, you know, some supermarkets, when you go, you see all these chillers. That way you still find them very fresh.
Right.
Those are another means. Then converting into paste. But how many people can afford to can afford to even build to? No, I'm even talking about farmers, because sometimes we also go through that because by the time you even take your stuff and is a lot in the market, the ridiculous price they sell. There are sometimes that tomatoes per crate has been sold for as low as 5,000 naira. And now people are begging to buy for 75k per crate. That same thing, yes. I remember last year in November, I was out of the country and they were harvesting, and they were telling me that is now 5,000, now 5,000. I was very. I
bought 7,000 in December.
For me as a farmer, for you as a consumer, you'll be very happy.
Right.
But for me as a farmer, I won't be happy, because I know everything I've even gone through. Then you can imagine the number of... It got to a stage I didn't even want to harvest, because I know that I was trying to... Maybe today the price will be better, because they will tell you that Thursday, Fridays, these are quite expensive because they'll be partying on Saturday. I will tell them that don't harvest yet. But before we know it, they might spoil on this stuff.
It's best to sell off.
Yes, it's best you sell off. Then if I can afford to set up like a mini tomato paste stuff, so you can also now convert to paste, and that way it can last.
You're also meeting another need when
need.
It is converted.
My question might sound funny. Is it that our farmers deliberately take advantage of festive period?
No, well, I wouldn't say we take advantage of festive period. But
Or is it because of the demand?
no, yeah, the demand during that period is always very high. Then another thing that happens, it has to also do with seasons. Because sometimes once for Western, we are trying to encourage, before, people didn't even believe we can grow cucumbers, we can grow pepper, we can grow tomatoes in the West. But thankfully, I have some senior colleagues, they've gone to do the research, they've seen that, okay, our soil is also very, very good. Because right now in the North, why there's another shortage? Because once it's rainy, there's always flood. So it destroys their farmland. So they don't farm because they have more acres and hectares. Yes, but they don't farm during the rainy season. So we in the West, what we do is during the period, we try to, take advantage. Because when you're in business, you're also in business to make money. We never also even expected it to go as high as this. When I started farming, the crate was usually normal period, maybe 7,000, 8,000. So we always look forward to maybe when it turns to 17,000. 2 years ago, during Ilaya, I remember telling one of the people that trained me, and they're like, okay, let's start here to, 16,000. So, and we're always excited, full with joy. Nobody would have even ever thought that tomatoes will get to 70,000 or 80,000 per crate as it is now.
Okay,
But at least,
I don't know if this is your area of fish farming. Okay, I have a friend who suffered a huge loss recently. The last heavy rain, I think that was on Thursday last week. By the time she got back to where she had her fish pond, all the fish had been, swept away by flood. Are there better ways? I don't know if you have an idea of how they, dig this pond. If there's anything that could be done to avoid such, of course.
I think this is where you start
climate change
about,
and all that.
knowledge sharing.
Knowledge sharing, yes.
Okay, so basically, I'm not actually into fish farm, but the little idea I have, maybe she's into maybe earth pond. Where they dig the ground.
Yes, they dig the ground.
Yes, they dig the ground.
Yeah.
So because of the flood, it's like they're trying to, and which is also very good because that's, the fish, they feel that they are still
within
their
the
habitat.
yeah.
Yes. But when
So they flow.
Yes, they flow.
Yes,
They flow. So when the rain, nobody will have expected that every rain. So obviously maybe it was too much and it just came, because sometimes it even happen in farmland. The flood will just come and wash everything away. So that incident is a very, very unfortunate incident. But in situation, I think what I can also advise is doing more of reservoirs. But the good thing about earthen ponds is that because the fish, they taste like, natural and everything. You can just throw others, which we advise people to eat healthy.
Right.
But, the reservoir system is another way to curb such situations. You need to construct like tarpaulin reservoir, big ones, and put. I'm sure with that, the flooding won't be, because they are not like inside. Because I can imagine the flood, something is earthened in the ground. So when the water is even too much, it can even collapse. It can, the ground can collapse and open up. Right. The fish will just escape. But in terms of reservoir, I don't think that can happen. So that's one advice I can give.
Is it possible that if that is done, perhaps during the rainy season, they can interchange where the fishes are?
Yes. Because they actually bring. I've been to some fish ponds before. Sometimes they try to sort them so they don't eat each other. So maybe in situations like that, like knowledge sharing. Okay. Maybe when you know that it's raining season, although nobody knows how heavy the rain would be. Maybe when you know that it's coming raining season, you try to transfer your fish into the reservoir ponds instead of
Okay, would have to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Abisola Ijalana, for coming on the program this morning. I hope it's been comfortable for you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that's the much we can take on the conversation this morning. Ilaya is just a few days from now. Nobody should ask me for meat.
I mean, we are talking about peppers and tomatoes here. Don't go to
what will you use to cook it? Even the ram says.
Bring uncooked for me.
Okay, we will see you after this short break.